Hello FPL managers and welcome back for another video. My name's Jack and today we've got the knee-jerk reaction for game week 18. If you guys are looking forward to more FPL content, drop a like and subscribe as it really helps out the channel, and click the notification bell to stay up to date with all of the upcoming FPL videos which will be coming quick and fast. And with that being said, let's jump into the video. So in today's video, we look over the most transferred in and transferred out players so far this game week and give you guys a recommendation as to whether or not you should go with the crowd and bring these players into your teams or release them from your squads, as most managers have done so. First of all, let's have a look at the most transferred in players, beginning with Mitrović. He has already seen 85,000 new owners, and it's no surprise to see the top scoring FPL player so far this game week in game week 17 be the most transferred in. He was firing on all cylinders, Mitrović. He was definitely a big doubt to start this game as well, so I'm sure many managers that got rid of him due to this injury concerns, to see him haul would have definitely been very painful. But his underlying stats were superb once more, provided great assist threat as well, and actually picked up his first couple of assists of the entire season, as he only had 9 goals and 0 assists before this match. He of course added a goal as well, which brings him up to double digits in the Premier League this season for goals, so a very well-rounded performance from Mitrović, and he looks to be a great pick going forward as well. He is currently in our team, so I'm very happy to have him in the squad. And if you don't have him in the teams, I would recommend managers to get him in, as he does have a good double game week coming up pretty soon, and his underlying numbers are very good, which we will dive into later in the video when we have a look at the transfer watch list as well. Moving on to another forward pick here, it's Ivan Toney. He was superb for Brentford once again, converting his chance, picking up 5 points in game week 17, as unfortunately for him, he did get himself a yellow card, which also consequently meant that he missed out on bonus points here, but it definitely could be so much more for Toney, as he had a great XG for this game, could have had even more goals in this one, as I believe his XG was sitting at over 1.3, which was very high, actually one of the highest amongst all players so far this game week. We will also discuss him a bit more later on, as he could be a very nice forward, a differential option as well. My two favourite mid-price forward picks right now to the cheaper end probably would be Mitrović and Toney. I would slightly lean towards Mitrović, but if you're looking to bring in Toney, definitely not a bad pick either. If you've already got Mitrović in the team, I think Toney is probably the second best option at around that £7 million price for forwards. And then Miggy Almiron gets himself yet another goal. He's been absolutely superb for Newcastle this season. I personally had my doubts as to whether or not he'll be able to keep up his form after the World Cup break, and it looks like it's just business as usual for him, getting into a great position and calmly slotting it in the corner. He was very impressive for Newcastle once again, picking up 8 points, and that has earned him already 40,000 managers, bringing him into the squad. He did also get an extra point for a clean sheet, which was nice to see for his owners, getting himself 7 points, then with the extra one taking him up to 8, of course. And then looking at the most transferred out players, not too many surprises here. Gabriel Jesus does feature, as he will be out for a little while for Arsenal, and obviously you would be looking to move him on, as he's not going to be coming back in the next few game weeks. Especially with Nketiah scoring, it was good to see him get on the score sheet for Arsenal, and I think the money is definitely better spent elsewhere in the team. If you are looking for good Jesus replacements, I do recommend Mitrović and Toney here, as we've spoken about. They both have great underlying numbers and have been very consistent across the season as well, which is good to see for them. And then Callum Wilson was unfortunately missing out for Newcastle in game week 17. We should see Chris Wood step up and take their penalty chance. Of course, if Wilson was starting, I'm sure he would have been on this penalty. So another very frustrating one for any managers that did have Callum Wilson in the team. But once again, if you are looking to move Wilson out, I would recommend either Toney or Mitrović, as they're the two better forwards at the same price. And then Maddison also missed out for Leicester, which did cause quite a few managers some frustration, getting the 0 points. I wasn't a massive fan of Maddison going into game week 17, so definitely a player that I would be looking to move on, as there are a couple of good midfielder options right now. Both the Arsenal assets in Saka and Odegaard, and also Martinelli scored as well, so all 3 picks there looking to be good options, as they do have a double game week locked in game week 23, and may even have a double game week in game week 21 as well, but we'll have to see how that plays out. So there definitely is good reason to get rid of Maddison, considering how many other midfielders are firing it right now. So with these most popular transfers in mind, let's have a look at our Game Week 18 transfer watch list. These are a couple of players that we do recommend keeping an eye on coming into the next couple of weeks, especially Game Week 18, as they've shown good underlying numbers or good promise for more FPL returns in the near future. The first one here is Odegaard. A lot of people are talking about Saka and Martinelli, but Odegaard at a slightly cheaper price at a fairly low ownership right now could be a great mid-price midfield option to have into your teams. He has actually recorded 3 double-digit returns in his last 4 to 5 game weeks for Arsenal, so he's been very, very good, especially as of late. And when he does get himself those attacking returns, he will feature on bonus points quite frequently, which is another key aspect for him as to why he could be a very nice option there. He does often feature on bonus points more than Saka and Martinelli, so if you've already got those guys in your team or you don't have enough money to go up to either of them, Odegaard could be a much nicer, cheaper option. Looking at his predicted points of 28.3, it is pretty similar to Saka's predicted points if you have a look at his in the next 6 game weeks. So Saka is projected to score 29.7 by Fantasy Football Fix, so Odegaard's roughly just 1 less, which is fairly close considering the price difference between the two of 1.6 million. So if you're looking to save a bit of money, Odegaard could be a great player to turn to and a great differential to have in the middle of the park. As we touched on earlier, Arsenal do have great fixtures coming up and a double in Game Week 23. They may also have a double in 21 coming up, so to get triple Arsenal in the team, it could be definitely worthwhile, and Odegaard is a great one to consider. Mo Salah, another great option here. He was superb in his first game back for Liverpool, picking up a goal and an assist, and he did top some of the key underlying stats as well. He had a pretty good XG for this game, and of course provided an assist for his teammates as well. He actually had one of the highest expected goals figures, sitting 4th for expected goals across Game Week 17 with an XG of around 0.8, and his expected assist figure was also pretty high for Liverpool, getting into some good positions, and he's just shown why he could be one of the best premium options going forward outside of Erling Haaland, who is still yet to play in Game Week 17. Looking at Salah's predicted points as well, Fix do expect him to perform very well over the next 6 game weeks, with 36 predicted points in the next 6 and 6.8 predicted points in his upcoming game week, so definitely one to consider for the teams. Mitrović, as we've touched on, was absolutely superb in Game Week 17, obviously got that goal and 2 assists and had great underlying numbers to suit. He had a 0.84 XG, which did sit 5th amongst all players so far this game week, and actually had the second highest expected assist stat of all players so far in Game Week 17 with 0.83, as of course he did pick up his first couple of assists of the season. Fulham do have some great fixtures coming up as well. They have a double coming up very, very shortly. They have Southampton at home in Game Week 18, which is a great fixture, as they just came off conceding a few goals to Brighton there as well in their home match. And I think Mitrović could be one of the best forward options at around 7 million. He is at 6.8 right now, so should be very, very affordable, and I would implore people to get him into the sides. He's also got pretty good predicted points with 25 across the next 6, and he's expected to score just under 5 points in Game Week 18. So hopefully if he can net once more for Fulham, he will get extra bonus points and be one of the highest scoring forwards once more, as he has done in Game Week 17. Moving on to Bukayo Saka, he looks to be an awesome option again. He was getting into some great positions in Game Week 17 and was unlucky not to have even more goals and more assists, as Martinelli did have a great chance to play him in for a tap-in, it seemed, at the back post, but just couldn't quite find him, so he could have had even another one here. It just seems that he's picked up from his World Cup form and continued on his great Premier League form so far this season. So if you're looking for a nice midfielder at around 8 million, I think he's a great pick. And if you could afford him, I definitely would prefer Saka over Odegaard, as Saka should have penalties as well for Arsenal, and in general does have better underlying numbers. He is also expected to score fairly well across the next 6 game weeks, just predicted to score around 30 points, which is around 5 points per game. So very consistent numbers from him are projected. Ivan Toney, another great pick here. We discussed him a little bit earlier in the video. He scored 5 points in Game Week 17 and has some okay fixtures coming up. The next 2 fixtures aren't the easiest, but after that it does get a lot better for Brentford from a fixture standpoint. He just seems to keep getting himself goals. He did have one of the highest expected goal stat amongst all players so far this week, with 1.32 already so far, which does position him second, only behind Darwin Núñez of all players that have played in Game Week 17. So I do really like him as well, at a little bit more expensive than Mitrović. So definitely one to keep an eye on across the next 2 weeks before you consider getting him in when Brentford do have that good fixture turn. Harry Kane, we've touched on it quite a few times in the watch list across the season, but he looks to be such a great premium forward pick. He did score once again for Tottenham and recorded 5 shots across the game week, which does make him one of the highest shot takers out of all players that have played so far. And he does have, of course, a very good predicted points with some good fixtures coming up, including a double fairly soon as well for Tottenham. He has Aston Villa as well in game week 18, which is a great fixture. And looking at those predicted stats, he is expected to score the second highest out of any player on this watch list here with 34.2 across the next 6 games. I can see why a lot of people have opted to go for Núñez over Kane. But what Kane does provide is very consistent finishing. He takes his chances. He is a great poacher, so that is what he can bring to the side. He also does add assists in as well occasionally, which does make him more tempting. And when he does get himself goals, he will feature on bonus points. So if you do have the extra money, I do much prefer Kane to Darwin Núñez. I am hopeful that Núñez can match Kane for points across the next 5 to 6 weeks, as I personally have Núñez in my team, but I think Kane is probably a slightly better option at 11.6 million. Almiron, as we've touched on before, looks to be a great pick at 5.8 as well. He's just continued that goal scoring form. As I said earlier, I did have my doubts about him, but he did prove me wrong, getting himself yet another goal and continuing that excellent string of form that he had right before that World Cup break, scoring over 70 points in his last 8 matches before that World Cup break, and he returned with yet another goal. And with Leeds at home in Game Week 18, could be a great chance to have a look at him, maybe get on him as well, as he is very, very affordable in the midfield. I would encourage people, if you're looking for a cheaper midfielder option, that Almiron would be one of the better picks. He's actually expected to score extremely well for a player of his price as well, with 6 predicted points in Game Week 18 and 30 predicted points across the next 6 game weeks. And then looking at the last player on the watch list, it is a player that hasn't played so far this game week in Rodrigo, but I do personally like him. He's got an ownership of around 6% right now, with 5 goals in his last 4 games before the World Cup break. He was carrying in some great form to Game Week 17. He is still yet to play against Manchester City, but from Game Weeks 18 through 25, Leeds have no matches with an FDR rating of over 3. So I really want to see how Rodrigo can go in Game Week 18. If he can get himself a goal, and if he can do well against Man City in Game Week 17, then he could be a nice pick to have from Game Week 19 onwards, as Leeds fixtures do take a turn on. He could be a nice differential midfielder at around £6 million. Thanks for watching today's knee-jerk reaction for Game Week 18. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, drop a like and subscribe for more FPL videos coming shortly, which will mean you'll have to click that notification bell to stay up to date with all the content coming your guys' way. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.